Okay guys, I hope you're doing well. Today we're back with a brand new video, and today I'm going to explain how to avoid copyright issues, because I know that for some people it's complicated when they're just starting out on YouTube and don't understand anything about it, and it can get really frustrating. So I'm going to explain in this video how to proceed. And just for your information, I'm going to release a song on YouTube very soon. It's going to be incredible. But I'm not stupid. I checked in every possible way to see if there were any copyright issues with my song, because I used sounds that didn't belong to me. Even though the chance of me getting a copyright claim was almost zero, I still took precautions, and I was right to do so. Now I'm confident about what I want to do. So, let me explain. First of all, what exactly is copyright? Well, copyright is basically when a song, sound, or image in your video gets checked by YouTube's robot, called Content ID, and it finds traces that could possibly be linked to someone's official publication, such as a song, for example. And that's where it can obviously become a problem. But honestly, it's extremely simple to get rid of that. First, the easiest way to do this is to simply mute the sound on your video directly through YouTube. That way, you're basically removing the copyrighted sound. Or you can use the sound, but it has to be less than 1 minute long, because any sound that's longer than 1 minute, even if it's only 1/1000th of a second that's linked to another sound, could potentially get you copyrighted. But honestly, if you do things normally, there's not really much risk. However, there's another case that's a little more complicated. If you use a song slowed down and put it into your audio, well, first of all, even if it's less than 60 seconds long, it's still the same song, except that you've slowed it down. So it can still be considered copyrighted. So don't do that without putting the title of the song in your video, because yes, if you do that, you're basically admitting that it's not yours. But there are also other cases. Even if you do that, sometimes the system might not recognize it because, I don't know, you put a parenthesis right next to it, so it thinks, this isn't exactly the same thing. Or maybe you were supposed to put the real title in your video. Anyway, but that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the sounds. In my song, there are only 3 things that aren't mine, but they're not necessarily official copyrighted material either. First, there are 2 things like
a few moments later,
or
1 eternity later.
But those are just SpongeBob things, so normally there shouldn't be any copyright issue with those if they're used in a song. Then there's the
oh shit, here we go again.
But that's just something from GTA, said by a guy. It's not really an official song or anything, so it shouldn't cause a problem. But the thing that worried me the most was the Vine boom sound. Yes, it's the thing from The Rock. But The Rock didn't create it. He took it from a website. I don't remember what it's called, I forgot.
It's driving me crazy.
Fuck it! Let's not get carried away. Basically, the website provides meme sounds that are meant to be available for everyone to use. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're 100% copyright free. If it's a sound that originally comes from an actual piece of music and has been slightly modified to become a meme, YouTube could still potentially recognize the music and block it. That's possible. Of course, in this case it's a sound effect, and the sound belongs to a company that basically gives it to everyone to use. So technically, yes, it's available to use. But YouTube can't necessarily know that, because it only sees what's uploaded to YouTube. You can check the original website yourself, but if someone has used the exact same sound in their own song, and it's very possible that someone has, YouTube could see the sound in your song and think it might be a copy. But that's not really the case. First of all, the sound is way too short. And secondly, it's literally just the sound of someone hitting something, or some kind of sound created by whoever made it. It's not really an identifiable musical composition. It's basically impossible to identify something like that as an original song. I mean, sure, you could say, yeah, it's kind of like a drum sound, but that's not enough to prove who created it. It's like hearing a cat meow. Just because someone made a video with their cat making exactly the same sound doesn't mean they own every cat meow in the world. The sound is way too short anyway. So I already knew that it probably wouldn't be a problem, but I still checked because it's such a popular sound, and I preferred to take absolutely no risks with my YouTube account getting banned. But anyway, now I'm going to be able to release the song. And obviously, I'm not just going to upload the video like that. What do you think? I have to go through several steps. I'm not going to list all the steps because it's a little complicated. Basically, You have to do something with a single, and then give the song to YouTube Music or maybe Content ID. We're going to do both to be 100% safe. Anyway, you'll see that it's not just automatically 100% safe. After that, they have to check the copyright situation. If everything is good, then you can distribute it or whatever. I forgot exactly what the next step is.
Fuck, I'm going to lose my mind.
And once everything has really been approved and you have confirmation that your song officially exists, that's when you can publish it normally on your account. And don't be stupid. Don't do all of this on one account, then upload it from another account, and then use yet another account. That's not going to work. I don't know exactly what could happen because the song hasn't been published yet, but publish it on the account where you actually created it. So don't use the wrong account. That would be pretty unfortunate. And then, basically, you'll have a real song that's yours. But be careful, because the song is supposed to actually be a song. You don't want a situation where, for example, there are 2 minutes of a guy talking while there's barely any music. Sure, you can have a little moment where someone says, "Oh shit," or something like that, just to add a bit of atmosphere. And that's fine because those parts are really short. But if it takes 2 minutes, then it could be considered something different. If you have 2 seconds of music and 2 hours of talking, obviously that's not really going to be considered a song. Personally, I think it's going to be fine. But anyway, my song is going to be incredible, guys. You're going to see. And if you're wondering how I got all this information, it's very simple. Me and my chat contacted The Rock, Gemini, and ChatGPT. I'm kidding, of course. We didn't contact The Rock.
Actually, we did.
Anyway, I'm going to show you what Gemini answered when I asked whether there could be a copyright problem with the Vine boom. Because honestly, ChatGPT told me that this was the only thing I really needed to check, because there was a possibility of getting a copyright claim. So, just to be sure, I asked Gemini, and here's what it answered. In summary, no, using the Vine boom sound in a song will generally not trigger a copyright block, because it is a short sound effect originally from sound effect libraries and is now widely shared and used as a meme. What you need to know about the Vine boom. Origin of the sound. It originally came from a sound effect library, often attributed to Bluezone Corporation, and was popularized by the Vine platform. Legal status. Such a short and generic sound effect, basically a simple bass impact, is not normally targeted by automatic copyright recognition systems such as Content ID in the same way as an excerpt from a commercial song. Real risks. They are extremely low for standard use on social media. Then I told Gemini that the sound came from The Rock and that I wanted to publish the song on YouTube and be absolutely sure there wouldn't be any copyright problems. And here's what it answered. It's exactly the same thing. No, you don't have anything to worry about on YouTube. The so-called The Rock meme, Dwayne Johnson raising his eyebrow, actually uses the classic Vine boom sound. The sound itself doesn't contain the actor's voice or image. It's simply the bass impact synchronized with his head movement. Why you're safe on YouTube. No Content ID. YouTube's robot doesn't normally scan and block this impact sound because it originally came from a sound effects library and is widely used as a generic sound effect. 0 strikes, 0 claims. Millions of videos and monetized YouTube videos use this exact sound without receiving copyright complaints. Monetization preserved. You should be able to monetize your song or video without the money being automatically given to someone else because of this sound. Then I showed Gemini's answer to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me. Yes, I checked what Gemini told you, and there's an important part that's correct, but also an overly categorical statement. For the Vine boom specifically. Good news. The original Vine boom comes from Bluezone Corporation, and Bluezone currently states that they grant a free, worldwide license, including for commercial projects. They explicitly allow the sound to be used in monetized YouTube videos, music, games, and other projects. Where I would correct Gemini, I wouldn't say, 0 risk, or, Content ID can never detect it. YouTube explains that Content ID compares uploaded videos with reference files provided by copyright holders. A match can result in a copyright claim, monetization by the rights holder, or a block depending on their policy. And most importantly, YouTube says that to monetize, you need to have the necessary rights to all the audio and video elements you use. But in your case, the important point is that Bluezone itself says that its Vine boom can be used commercially. So using it in your song does not automatically mean that someone owns the rights to your entire song. For your song, Archie the Cat, if you have your original music plus your voice plus the official Bluezone Vine Boom, then you can publish the song on YouTube and monetize it, because the license stated by Bluezone allows commercial use. ChatGPT also recommended downloading the Vine Boom directly from Bluezone's official source rather than using a random copy downloaded from TikTok, YouTube, or another sound effects website. And apparently, credit isn't mandatory according to Bluezone's current license, although they say credit is appreciated. So, basically, Gemini, green circle generally correct about the Vine Boom, but red circle too categorical when saying, zero risk. You plus official Bluezone Vine Boom plus your own song equals green circle commercial use allowed. Then I showed that answer to Gemini, and here's what Gemini said. This is an excellent analysis from ChatGPT, and it's absolutely right to add some nuance. In copyright law and on YouTube, the phrase, absolute zero risk, doesn't really exist. The official Bluezone Corporation article confirms exactly what we were looking for. They grant a free, worldwide, commercial license for this specific sound. Why ChatGPT is right to add nuance, the false positive problem. YouTube's Content ID system shouldn't incorrectly claim the Bluezone sound itself. However, the real risk on YouTube is something called a false positive. If another artist uses the Vine Boom in their own song, if they register their song with YouTube Content ID in a very aggressive way, YouTube's system could potentially think that your song copied theirs just because you both used the same bass impact. How? To protect yourself as much as possible. 1. Download the original. Go directly to Bluezone Corporation's website and download the clean .wav file. Don't use a compressed version from a TikTok or YouTube video. 2. Add credit to your description. Even if Bluezone says it's not mandatory, do it anyway. Write in your video description, original Vine Boom sound, designed by Bluezone Corporation. If you ever get a false claim, this could help you show where the sound came from and contest the claim. So now you have everything you need and official permission from the sound's creator to use it in your song. And if you have any other sounds or meme clips that you're planning to add to your song, you can check whether they're safe to use as well. Then I showed that answer to ChatGPT, and here's what it told me. Yes, this second answer from Gemini is much more accurate and cautious. Thumbs up. There's just one important nuance concerning its advice that this will protect you 100%. No, a credit in your description doesn't guarantee that a copyright claim can never happen. However, keeping proof of Bluezone's license is an excellent precaution. For your song, Archie the Cat, I would therefore do the following. 1. Musical note: use the Vine Boom directly from Bluezone Corporation. 2. Floppy disk: keep the original file and, if possible, keep a copy of the Bluezone page license showing the commercial use permission. 3. Memo: optionally add this to your description. Original Vine Boom sound designed by Bluezone Corporation. 4. Sent mail: publish your song normally on YouTube. 5. Warning: if YouTube generates a claim anyway, don't panic. A Content ID claim is not automatically a strike. You can examine the claim and dispute it if it actually concerns an element you're legally allowed to use. So, for your original goal, making Archie the Cat into a real song and publishing it on YouTube, the official Bluezone Vine Boom shouldn't prevent you from publishing or monetizing it. And most importantly, don't put your entire song under a royalty-free license just because it contains a Vine Boom. The Vine Boom is a licensed element, while the other original elements of your song can remain yours. I don't even know how long this video is going to be, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to say that I'm going to post the video very soon. So yeah, I've been talking for almost 10 minutes, but honestly, I don't give a damn. Anyway guys, this was at EvaBattles C9F, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Yes, loudly crying, I read everything. And honestly, your video idea is good, but there are several parts that I strongly recommend you correct before publishing it, because otherwise you risk teaching people things that are false or overly simplified about YouTube copyright. The biggest problem is this part. Greater than, you can use the sound, but it has to be less than 1 minute long. Cross-mark: that's false. There is no general YouTube rule saying that a song is automatically allowed if it lasts less than 60 seconds. Even 1 second of a copyrighted work can potentially cause a copyright issue. The duration is not what makes the use legal. Same thing with greater than. Put the song's title in your video. Cross-mark giving the title or crediting the artist does not automatically give you permission to use the music. And, greater than, slowing down the music. The fact that you slow down, speed up, modify, or transform a song does not remove the copyright. It can still be protected. Warning, and there's another important point in your video. You say that sounds like, a few moments later, 2 hours later, and, ah shit, here we go again, shouldn't normally cause problems because they are short or because they are memes. Here too, I would be much more cautious. The fact that a clip has become a meme doesn't mean that it is copyright free. For example, 2 hours later, is associated with SpongeBob, and, ah shit, here we go again, comes from Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. The fact that thousands of people use them doesn't mean that they have obtained a license. Speaker, as for your Vine boom, though, that's actually the best example in your video, because you followed the process correctly. Source right pointing arrow license right pointing arrow commercial use allowed. And that's the right method to teach. So I would change your general message to something like, greater than, don't look for a magic duration of 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute. It doesn't exist. If you want to be safe, use your own sounds, a library with an appropriate license, YouTube audio library, or a sound for which you have checked the terms of use. That would make your video much more reliable. And one last thing, a content ID claim does not equal a strike. It's very important to clarify this, because at one point you say you're afraid your account could be banned because of the Vine boom. A simple content ID claim does not normally automatically result in your channel being terminated. So your concept is genuinely interesting, but I recommend presenting the video as how to avoid copyright problems on YouTube, rather than how to avoid copyright, because copyright doesn't disappear. The main goal is to use content for which you actually have the rights or an appropriate license. And honestly, with these corrections, your nearly 10-minute video could be much more useful to beginners. Open mouth smile.